So after an excruciatingly long wait, we got it. We actually got it. Demo for Block Tales. And it's amazing. Yeah, not one demo is missed so far. Not one. And this one just doesn't change that statement whatsoever. I kind of had my doubts at first about, the new environment and stuff, but it still turned out to be extremely enjoyable. So let's start it off with the prologue. I know it's not the demo for it, but it did come with the update, and it's pretty important. So if we head back to our bed with Terry, we just open up a new save file. We get a real-time preview of what led us into this other Bloxy world. It seems that before we enter this new world, we're in the present due to the astounding amount of Arthur avatars. And also, quick applaud to the amount of interactable NPCs on the map. Everyone just has so much dialogue. Like I said before, it adds a lot of life into the area and game in general, which I appreciate. This amount of dialogue is probably why the game took a decent chunk of time to get out, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have enough time to talk to everyone since I wanted to get this video out, but I'll go back for any secrets. But anyway, following the main story, we head on out to the Innovation Awards, where my man J Putty gets absolutely jumped by this mysterious ass dude with Dominus and his goons. We attempt to fight back with some help from this elder penguin, but we do make a little oopsie and...
Oh, you have a bomb? What is that?
What is that?
That sucked in. What?
Yo, save us! Whoops. Look where we are now. It's a pretty short introduction, which introduced you to the gameplay for the first time playing. But other than that, it was nice and simple. So one way to definitely start a story. So nevertheless, back to demo 4, chat a bit about it. Starting off with the maps. So like I said before, I was kind of originally skeptical about this new demo since I'm not a fan of sand and desert environments, but this is pretty alright. I think it's because of the way the game looked originally, so maybe that's why. Plus, we also spent a good amount of time in an ancient temple and tombs, and also a fucking underground lava area, so it didn't really matter. I really did enjoy the temple part the most, as the hieroglyphs were pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie, and the way Calypso just describes them. Shout out to Medjet, by the way. The parkour was also pretty simple, but it was still pretty decent enough. I also like the new mechanics to keep adding, along with also utilizing older ones as well into the parkour sections. It keeps the game refreshing and not redundant at all. I love it. And the puzzles in this demo are also significantly tougher than those before. I even had to bring back a little bit of my power from the Breath of the Wild days. So besides that, there's another part of the environment that's very important, and that would be the music. The music for this demo is probably the best it's ever been for Block Tales, but for me personally, it's right behind demo 3. Some standouts are the Ancient, Temple Guardian, and the Red Sun Temple theme. Such great pieces. And as I said for the previous demo, each soundtrack just encapsulates the vibe of what the song's in place for. Like the Temple theme, for example. It may seem like an out-of-place soundtrack for this type of area, but it was still interesting and honestly worked perfectly. Along with the boss themes, the boss themes. Trotter has an amazing theme, which is then amplified by the rocky, ancient boss theme, which is one of the first songs to have vocals in it. Also, to carry over the leitmotif is... it's cinema. So if you play Block Tales with other music on in the background, I'm gonna need you to just turn that off for a moment and just marinate in the OST that this demo gives, because it is just that good. So aside from the music, what really impressed me too was also the characters. Most of them were pretty interesting, with the main highlights of this demo being Calypso and Captain Trotter, with Calypso being a personal favorite of mine, and probably a lot of other people's as well, I'm not gonna lie. Also, she's a pretty useful NPC, other than when she kept spamming that same goddamn move during the final boss.
A battle crying, you fat loser!
Anyway, yeah, this demo was also very dialogue-eccentric, which gave enough time for these characters to establish their motives and personality, which is great. But another favorite of mine, that's probably gonna be a future fan favorite, is Mr. Flossy, Blocky, Flotchy, Nasi, man, whatever.
Floxy Nasi Nihili Pilification.
I love every scene with this guy. He makes up a good chunk of the humor of this demo without a doubt, and also thanks to, that image. I'll give it that. What I won't give is credit to Finn McCool. Damn bastard. Okay, onto the gameplay. It's about the same steady rate of additions for the combat. We got new cards from our diversity that are honestly pretty good this time around. And speaking of diversity, the new enemies that have been added are actually pretty fun to fight against. Most of the new attacks are incredibly hard to defend against, which, thank you devs. I also love the new animations, especially for this flaming pony. Like, what the hell is this? What I can say though, that is beautiful. But the big takeaway here is the Firebrand, which is the newest sword that you can obtain. Think of it like a more expensive and better Venom Shank, considering it uses 2 bars just like the Ghostwalker. It's good for clearing out a lot of people at once, but like I said, it is pretty costly if you're trying to conserve energy. And for the bosses, I think that they're quite balanced all around. And most importantly, actually fun. My favorite fight on the demo is with Cap and Trotter, especially because of that V1 coin trick. He also baits with the move. You could either decide to shoot the coin or just not at all. And the non-coin attack does less damage anyways, so I guess he's really doing it for style points. Speaking of style points, out of every enemy in this game, the Ice King, a flaming pony, hell, even the deepest part of yourself, this guy with the baseball cap and hat is the one to truly whoop your ass. Take it from me and about a good chunk of other people. And don't be saying in the comments you beat this guy first try. Nuh-uh, I ain't trying to hear that. Also, we get a brand new summon in this demo, and it's the Griefer. He does come back as his regular self if you make some type of concoction for him. He joins you because he believes you've done some hardcore stuff. He's pretty cool with his new vines on his body and stuff, but I don't really think he's that good in terms of combat. He protects you and does a little bit of damage, and that's about it. I guess Griefer's better than Red and Blue though. So all in all, no drawbacks and negatives on the gameplay whatsoever. Also, a little bit of a side note, I do like that the game is getting a little bit harder. Because even though as of making this video, I haven't even beaten Mr. McCool yet, I actually do enjoy the challenge presented, even if it's total bullshit. But the main thing I look forward to for each new demo to come out regarding combat is the pit. It's a challenging wave of battles with a new wave of 9 every time. The best thing about this is how absurd it gets later on. I thought back then the game was crazy for already having more than 2 of these statues, but now we have entire bosses stacked alongside each other. But hey, I do appreciate the spike in difficulty, and plus this is all optional, so you could choose to suffer or not. Okay, so that's the end of the main glaze. Let's talk about some other things, such as the pacing. Now my problem for Demo 2 and a teeny bit of Demo 3 was the pacing of the story. Sometimes it was going way too fast with really no stopping points in between. At least that's what it felt like to me a little bit. It didn't give much time to develop many characters, which is exactly where Demo 4 improves. I'd say we actually take a step back in terms of story involvement for this demo, since Cap and Trotter really only hates us because we killed his whole crew, to which we kinda did it. But this demo gives enough time for the 2 big characters here, Trotter and Calypso, to establish and make themselves integral to the story, which is accomplished really nicely actually. I like to also appreciate the world building for this demo, as by talking to NPCs around the world, you could actually find more background info on these characters, like Kyoko on the docks, who talks about her missing sister who went to the desert. I wonder who that could be. There's also probably a lot of hidden lore if you just explore, so you should do that if you care deeply about the story in general, which I might do honestly, since Block Tales actually has one of the most interesting and original stories for a Roblox game. And final comment to some, this demo might be considered kinda short, which is actually kinda crazy since I think this is probably the longest one, but keep in mind, it's called a demo for a reason. So honestly, this game is gonna be cemented as one of my favorite Roblox games ever, and at this rate, it'll probably be my most favorite, I'm not even lying. Yeah, call this shit Paper Mario at home, whatever, it's still peak to me. I just pray that there's no bad demo in the future, which is like realistically a 1% chance. I doubt the devs will mess up that bad. They're on an amazing streak right now, and I think it'd only get better from here on out. Also, in terms of favorability, I put this right in between demo 3 and 1 because 3 has been the craziest and most mind-blowing one so far. If a demo ever tops the 3rd one, I will be so amazed. But anyway, that's about all I have to say. There's probably a lot of extra secrets scattered all over the demo, so feel free to comment about that. Hope you enjoyed this demo as much as me, and see you fellas.